Summoner Duels S is back in season, and I've got a chip on my shoulder. Why, you might ask? Well, I recently made a video covering how the brave Cavs are some of the biggest threats in SD right now, and even out of the goodness of my heart shared a strategy detailing it out for you. However, I'm not sure you guys were paying attention, so I decided to really try and show the Fire Emblem Heroes world how nice this strategy really is, and how it can carry an otherwise talentless player like me to a sweet, sweet victory. First thing you might notice, flash of steel across the board. Tandem form is underwhelming at best and dead on arrival at worst, and mass confusion is, well, mass confusion. With captain skills out of the way, time for teams. My first team is fronted by a Summer Claude who I recently killed a Volk for. He'll get a special charge with help from Valoria, and he'll hit harder due to help from Catra and Plumeria. Hector will keep him safe from a distance. I don't know if you guys can tell, but I really don't plan on using this team. Because that's the thing, you never actually have to go with your worst team in SDS. It's kind of sick. Next up is my spooky scary team. How do you make a team that gets insta-banned? Simple. Old scary units that are incredibly dominant without support, and new scary units that the common man won't be comfortable playing against. Although this team looks like a heavy-hitting team, the truth is I tried it out a handful of times, and Bulwark is actually a terrible strategy for small chambers because mobile teams can just go around. Speaking of mobile, Team 3, you know them, you love them, it's the Brave Cavs. And Berkut's here now too. I've got a whole video on this team if you want a little more background. The last team is another attempt at a spooky scary team, and fortunately for me, I grabbed a Byleth the day of SDS when hunting for Legendary Claude. I also got a Kiel, but she seemed noticeably less scary than the secretly uninvested Idun on the ban screen. My ban strategy was a priority list. Duo Loki was an instant ban because I was banking on getting the Braves every time. Next were Saviors, particularly near saves, but both get me in trouble. Third was a Brave Cavs mirror match, I didn't want to face anybody who was onto me. And fourth were movement extension characters if I could, and battle refreshers like the Kroms or Legendary Ninian. With all that out of the way, it was time to get into my first match against Koi9 Demi Dubs, who must have been elated to use his namesake team. He gave me the Cavs, and off we went. Immediately, I noticed something a little concerning. Seliph couldn't kill the Har. Surely Elamine was to blame, but I anxiously moved Arvel to the bridge when I noticed Arvel couldn't put a dent in Dimitri either. I'm in trouble. I'm forced to sack Crom and pressure with Arvel so that Koi blunders his Har. However, because Seliph lost his miracle effect, he's swiftly dealt with by Azura. Spotting an opening, I make my move. Now Dimitri is the only unit on the map who can successfully kill Arvel. Fortunately for me, he's quite far away. And with his support units gone, I can swiftly take Dimitri for the first win. My next game was against I Can Fixer, who sported a very Fey OC heavy team. I took Embla on the first move, and that's all it took for them to smell defeat in the air, 2-0. Game 3 pitted me against a Mura user with a daunting beast team. I quickly take their Dancer, to which they respond by pushing with Mur. A scramble situation forms, but I take their Edelgard instead, ending the match. Game 4 was against Abigail, who must have watched my video because Team 3 was banned. I took the Byleth team to war for the first time. They don't have a practice opening. Because I didn't have a plan, I tried to get everyone in the box and out of the red. With zone points in hand, I trade Byleths because he's very scary. A trade war ensues, and thank goodness Fafnir throws flowers and not bullets, because Embla was able to tank and kill him. Couple trades later, the game is over, netting me the win. My next game was against a very cool Ascended Merida user, who Sathered me. I quickly take down their heavily invested Mer, but it was a bait the whole time, as the Merida came down to punish me for it. I quickly realized I had to make something happen and pushed forward, but lost trades and then ended the game. Perhaps if I adjusted my openings so that Berkut was the one that got turn ended, the match would have went a little differently. I also really should have seen the smite on that Sather. My next game was against Ko and Ryu, who also watched my video. They sported a Claude that I was very jealous of, but Ymir's Miracle allowed me to put him away first. After that, I noticed no one was faster than Byleth, and Catria was the only truly scary unit left. Quick trade to deal with her, and all that was left was for Byleth to clean up the mess. Game 7 put me against Rico, who was very excited to use his power. Unfortunately for him, Vantage strats and SDS are a coin toss, and he lost, because my Hardy Bearing unit managed to sneak onto the map. While he took care of all the palace setup, I took his Crom, and then watched as he blundered his pallet to revenge kill. Quick 2-turn victory, and I moved to 6-1. My next game was against Poke, who used Dimitri. It's also the first very scary save unit I had to come across. Poke definitely avoided losing a unit on turn 1, and pressured with Dimitri quite effectively. Although I would collect the zone points, I very much lost turn 2 to a fantastic Dimitri play. Arvel took my Seliph, and I knew it was over. Not much I could have done other than rethink my bands. Poke kinda turned up, what can I say? Game 9 was against Aster Nikki, who went with the Lilith team. I opened like normal, and much to my surprise, I actually could take Halloween Duma with Seliph. The sack was already worth it, but then Nikki blundered his Lilith, allowing me to take away that ace in the hole. After that, I sacked Berkut to take Ninian, and Morbius was stuck in the middle with nothing to do but surrender. I was across from Win for Game 10, who lost the coin toss with Ninja Camilla and Byleth. 2 Vantage users on one team, so it must really suck to see that blue seal. Seliph outsped Byleth anyway, and then I traded in textbook Brave Cav fashion from the top of the map. Arvel took Camilla, and that was checkmate. My next game was against Chris the 2806, who sported the scary new Cordelia ult, along with the unpredictable Ascended Celica and... is that legendary Sigurd? Yo! Good to see you, Dad! I moved Arvel first because I was pretty sure Crom would end Seliph, and took Chris's aggressive advance as an opportunity to kill Cordelia at the cost of my Arvel. Fortunately for me, they didn't bring any super beefy units anyway. An ensuing trade put me up 3 units to 1, and my record improved to 9-2. Pajama was my next opponent, rocking the brand new Shez. I saw Duo Alphonse and had a flashback to a simpler time, when I played against a friend named Cremulus. He beat me with a Miracle Asker, charged up with the Duo Alphonse. With this knowledge in mind, I proceeded to learn absolutely nothing and charged forward anyway, shocked that Seliph missed the kill on Byleth. 3 points down, I had to be aggressive, but admittedly I did stall a turn. That would cost me as my Berkut was 1 turn away from the comeback, and I took my 3rd loss. My next game was against Astra, who started their Arvel. A quick foul play forced me to completely change my opening, putting me on the back foot. I saw an opening to kill Embla, but afraid of Camilla in the center, decided not to. Once Camilla was dealt with, I marched forward with the Cavs, minus Berkut, and sacrificed the zone for positioning. Trading Crom for Arvel, I prayed that Embla couldn't kill Seliph, and my prayers were answered. However, Berkut failed to take Embla, making for a kind of awkward situation. A point up with 2 Cavs on the board, I ran across the finish line for my 10th and final win. All great runs come to an end, and mine was at the hands of Alexia, who's also a Squadala fan, as shown by their bands. I had an early opportunity to take Astrid with Embla, but I chose not to. This would immediately bite me in the ass, as Astrid allowed Marth to take my captain, ending the game swiftly and suddenly. Big ups to Alexia. Overall, trying at SDS was pretty cool actually. I got to see a lot of unique strategies that seemed very well rehearsed, and I got to work on my own scramble skills and improvisation. I went from Gold B to Platinum C, which is very hype, and I can't wait for the next SDS, whenever that is. GG's to everyone I played, and congrats to everyone who bested me. I don't know if I'll ever be talented enough to get to top rank summoner duels, but I do know that there is no time, and your sword is enough. Squadala!